It's late April and the construction of the first secondary school in Bradley Stoke is well underway. Residents of this new town north of Bristol have been waiting years for this. Designed to house just under 1,000 pupils, a number it'll reach after 5 years of steady growth, the school's first year of operation will see it handling a single set of 180 Year 7s, fresh from the local primary schools.
When I wrote the prospectus last summer, with no building, no pupils, no curriculum, no staff, it was quite a challenging process.
The local residents have already had some poor experiences with the delayed completion of some of the town's 6 primary schools, so there's extra pressure to get this one right. Despite this, the head and his governors gave us exclusive access as he set about starting a brand new school. Everything from fixtures and fittings to employing new staff, designing the uniform and selling the ethos of the school to parents and children. We followed Dave Baker and his team and discovered just what it takes to create a secondary school from scratch. With just 4 months to go before the start of the new school year and with building work on schedule, Dave's top priority is getting his staff in place. Today, he's showing around 3 hopefuls competing for the one modern languages post. The school intends to excel in foreign languages, an area of shortfall nationwide, and the prospect of being in at the very beginning has attracted a strong shortlist of candidates.
We're looking for experienced teachers because they will be the only teacher of their subject area, so they've got to be people who are confident, can work independently, flexible, able to set a scheme of work up by themselves. And that's clearly about getting the right kind of people who will fit with the team and want to buy into the vision that we're working on.
Already in place is Dave's PA, Catherine Taylor, and 3 assistant heads. Ian Williams teaching design and technology, Steve Moyer, who will teach humanities, and Jenny Sutton-Kirby in charge of the arts. They and the governors will choose the rest of the staff. Before appointing, Dave wants to see how well the candidates perform in the classroom. But how can you see a teacher working when you don't have a school for them to teach in? Dave's answer is to borrow local primary school pupils. It's a tough interview process, including teaching a class of 30-plus Year 6 students. And an in-depth discussion of their current teaching practices with examples of their pupils' work.
Do you teach modern foreign languages in mixed ability groups, or are they setted?
They're mixed ability in Year 7 and they're setted from Year 8 onwards.
And the day is rounded off with a formal interview with the board, including governors. For the successful candidate, the post offers a unique challenge and a rare opportunity.
Quite a lot of questions about sort of the latest developments and really how you take responsibility for developing a lot of the teaching and learning.
The team so far, the people that I've met, seem fantastic. Really innovative, hard-working, so it would be a team that I'd be proud to work with.
All the resources will be my responsibility, and that for me is very important because I want to grow into the role as well. I just don't want to stop here.
Can you think about the style?
But before making a decision, Dave canvasses the class taught by the candidates to see what they felt.
Over to you, Jay.
I liked the third one because it was more active and we were doing more stuff in it.
Name?
Matthew.
Matthew, go on then, Matthew.
I like the second one because you can use like different things for different meanings.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a nervous time for the applicants as they have to wait for the board to make its decision.
You were quite concerned about the amount of English that was actually spoken in the lesson, and she herself reflected later on how little of the French they picked up.
Would fit well with what we did, and she came up with some great ideas for enrichment, which we cottoned onto and sort of, you know... Stole. Yeah, stole.
Use that as part of the individual assessments.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was very interesting about how they talked about their enthusiasm for their subject and their enjoyment, and candidate 3 really won the day about that because, you know, she talked about fun, enjoyment and motivation.
And the issue I think at the moment is whether, you know, 1, 2 or 3 of these people are able to do the job that we need for September, which is to run the modern languages, whatever that looks like, you know, but to run that independently without kind of, you know, relying on me.
And after lengthy deliberation, they finally make their choice.
Might want to just check that against your grids to make sure I've mapped that right.
Hello, Severine. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, hiya. We'd like to offer you the job.
Severine Brinster, a French national with 2 years teaching experience, will be moving from Bournemouth to Bristol to take up the post. The interview stretched over a week, with some 30 candidates interviewed for just 7 teaching positions. For the 2 advanced skills teaching posts, extra exercises, including one on group planning, were included in the evaluation process.
What you'll be asked to do at the end is to be prepared to discuss what your ideas might be for someone like the head teacher.
Well, they're going to need a set time to collect information, then to process the information and do what?
Yeah, so do something with the information they've collected.
It's been a gruelling process of selection, but at last Dave believes he has the right staff in post.
In the end, we appointed people who, in terms of the breadth of their vision and their understanding, we felt that they would be the right people to come and work in the team and that they would develop into very strong leaders.
Housed in temporary offices in a local primary school, the management team now set about equipping the new school. Everything from whiteboards to the canteen cutlery has to be sourced, budgeted for and in place by September. It's a very demanding job.
All right, hang on, I'll just check, one sec. John Atwood from the LEA, ICT fella, very good. Just got a message about issues with the service and what's gone in and whether or not, I mean, do you know much about service or?
A little bit, but I mean it's more the application of ICT, not the particular hardware that I've got experience in. Can we call him back so we can have a chat about it? Yeah.
John, probably the best thing is if we give you a ring back in a bit. Cheers, bye.
What was he asking about, Steve?
The systems they put in to take the survey will decide really what sort of survey we're going to have.
Right, okay.
And that's what he's saying.
Well, the discussions have been quite a long time back, so technology had probably moved on and there needs to be a review of the situation.
We went back to the kind of profile of the sort of learner that we would want here at Bradley Stoke Community School. We spent quite some time talking about the fact they would need to be resilient, they would need to be illiterate, they would need to be problem solvers, they would need to be self-starters, independent learners, independent thinkers, process-based thinkers. And then we thought long and hard about the type of technology that would enable that kind of learner to flourish and to make progress.
Less technical but just as important is the uniform, overseen by Jenny Sutton-Kirby.
We started with the governors deciding that what we wanted was to have a sweatshirt and a polo shirt as opposed to a blazer and a tie, mostly because they asked us what was easiest to keep smart, and then came up with the bluey green colour, which is the teal here. Then went back to the company that we'd chosen, or the governors had chosen, and of course they didn't have that colour, but they've been really nice and I've gone all the way to China to get the stuff dyed. I think most things are dyed in China now, but it sounds good. And then the next thing was that we didn't want to have any distinction between the boys and the girls' uniform, so there's just a uniform list. So girls can of course wear trousers, boys could wear skirts if they wished.
With so much to do and the clock ticking, everyone is having to muck in and there's a good team spirit.
Yeah.
Day 54, Bradley Stoke Community School. Stuck in an office with Stephen Moyer. Again.
Ian is negotiating a contract for sound and lighting equipment in the main hall and drama studio.
Well, it's certainly varied role, and you wouldn't normally get involved at this kind of level across the school in a normal school that's been established where the systems and the protocols are set up. So hopefully it gives you experience in dealing with a lot of other areas. It just so happens that because I'm involved in this area and have some expertise, I can look through the quote and identify things that maybe aren't quite right on the first look through.
I didn't realise when we started on the project exactly how much time would go into making sure we set the environment up appropriately, and I think that will pay dividends for us in terms of ethos and culture. I think if the children are comfortable, if they feel they're in an environment that is nice, they're much more likely to behave appropriately.
It's late May, and tonight there's an open meeting with parents. Some of the newly appointed staff, like Ed Owen, a PE teacher, start to arrive.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Catherine, Dave's PA, is busy with the last-minute preparations.
I've been working with Dave, obviously supporting Dave in his role, contacting parents, making sure they get newsletters, making sure that we arrange meetings to go out and see the children in the primary schools that are feeding into us. I've also been going to site meetings with Dave as well, so that there are two of us who are fully involved with stuff that's going on site.
Keeping in touch is the purpose of tonight's information evening. Nearly 200 parents and children pack the local primary school to hear the latest news.
Good evening and welcome everybody. It's lovely to see you all. Tomorrow is 7 weeks away from completion day on the building, so it's getting very exciting from our perspective. I will give you an update on the buildings and show you some photos in a moment. I know there's been a history of some buildings not being completed on time in Bradley Stoke, but the school is on target for completion in 7 weeks.
This is the second in a series of meetings held to keep parents updated on the progress of the school, and an important part of building up the parent-teacher rapport.
We'll be able to have the school open from 7 in the morning to 10 at night, with a range of activities going on within those hours for the school and for the community. But more about the school day a little bit later. In case you're worrying children, you won't be expected to be there till 10 in the evening. Well, maybe I should say to parents in brackets, obviously if the price is right, we can come to an arrangement. OK, the floodlights being tested on the AstroTurf. For those of you who are enthusiastic about these things, 102 metres by 63 metres will mean something to you. For the rest of us, very big.
There's also a chance for parents to ask the staff questions.
Will there be any sort of intention or policy for the school for detention?
Interestingly, rewards and sanctions were something else that we talked to the Student Council about, and we're coming back to discuss again with them, because sometimes the children can be far harsher than the teachers in what they think should be in place, and it will be interesting to see what their views are, but there will be discipline.
A few weeks later, Edward, who's part of that student council, attends the monthly meeting.
We were told by Mr. Baker, the headmaster, that a boy and a girl from each school going would be a council representative. There was a vote and it emerged that me and a friend would be on the council. We make lots of decisions, mostly to do with things like rewards and sanctions, how to help other year sixes when they come up to the school in their transition, things like that. Lots of things to do with the pupils.
In today's meeting, they're discussing how to organise the school into houses.
If all sorts of things get you house points, then boys and girls are going to do different things to earn them. I mean, I don't know, but girls do girly things and boys do boy things.
What's girly things?
I don't know, but can you
going shopping?